Jumping into Counter-Strike 2 for the first time? You'll want to make sure your settings are just as you like them, and optimized for FPS. Here are the best settings for CS2, in the beta. CS2 is the upgrade to Counter-Strike Global Offensive we have all been waiting for. It's a complete overhaul of the previous game, with upgraded graphics, lighting and more. As a result, though, most players will find Counter-Strike 2 considerably more taxing on their CPU and graphics card. So, if you want to ensure you have a smooth experience with the best frame rate possible, it's time to tinker with the settings. 1. Video settings for Counter-Strike 2. The first tab of settings you need to adjust is video. Here, you can change things like brightness, aspect ratio and resolution. Resolution is somewhat personal preference, but we've got a guide on the best resolution options for CS2 here. The exact aspect ratio and resolution setting you use is up to you. However, setting it to something like 1610, 1680x1050, will improve your FPS, as the game is now rendering at a lower resolution than the default 1920x1080. This setting will also stretch the game slightly, but not as much as 4:3. To get stretched res, make sure your graphics card scaling settings are set to full screen, not aspect ratio. Using stretch res will make enemies slightly larger, wider, but they will also move slightly faster. You might think disabling Fidelity FX Super Resolution would improve performance, but this setting actually improves your FPS by upscaling the game. Ultra quality will look almost identical, with a small boost in performance. If you are struggling with FPS, you could try quality instead. However, some players report increased input latency when using Fidelity FX Super Resolution, and so for now, it is safest to disable it, and use other settings to improve your FPS. If you are struggling for FPS, you can try changing to 2x MSAA instead of 4x. Having MSAA disabled entirely may give a small boost, but the game became very uncomfortable to look at.